Welcome, everyone, to the Fierce Entrepreneurs Summit. We're so excited that you're here with us, and we have 2 hours of amazing stuff coming up. So, Kim, I think we should start by telling everyone why we're here, and I'll take it away. We have we have come together this evening to highlight fierce entrepreneurs and show the world what's possible when you dare to let me get this right. When you dare to do what you dream about.
I love it, Carrie. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're so excited. We are your hosts. I'm with the famous Carrie Zarb, who is the founder, and I just lost all of my thoughts. I am so sorry, Carrie. Let me start that over, y'all. We're doing it messy. So, Carrie is a brilliant entrepreneur, first off. She's a rock star podcaster. She is the owner and director of Zinc Business Solutions. She's the cover girl for this month's issue of My Sexy Business, and she is the founder and I don't even know what to call the financial designer part, Carrie, of our world. She is our Biz Beans Club leader. So welcome, Carrie Zarb, to be the host.
Thank you, Kim. And of course, I am joined by the founder and fierce leader herself. Kim White is the co host with me in this amazing journey. And messy is beautiful, and it's going to be messy. And we're okay with that. We are okay with that.
And I'm the backup singer tonight, just so everybody knows.
Never a backup singer, Kim. Well, Kim, together we lead several mastermind groups, and we are highlighting some of those amazing humans with us in this summit. And if you can't tell, we are a little bit excited.
We are excited, Carrie. We've got some incredible stories coming up, but even more than that, I feel like it's a behind the scenes look for each one of these amazing humans. So I can't wait to get started, Carrie.
Me too. And I'm going to explain the format for the next 2 hours because we've got two groups of panels coming to join us live on stage. Our first group isn't too far away, so that's exciting as well. But Kim, the focus of this summit is leadership.
It is, Carrie. I feel like you cannot be an entrepreneur and a successful entrepreneur if you are not a good leader. You have to learn to lead yourself, lead your team, lead your clients, lead your, customers, whatever it is, but you need to learn leadership. So I feel like these are some of the best examples of leadership that we are surrounded by.
And Kim, I want to say out loud, I'm not only excited about the fact that we're going to be talking about leadership, but the fact that we get to share that with each other almost daily in the different spaces that we hang out together. It's really exciting that everyone's coming together here for the summit, but we get to play with these people like almost every day. So we're lucky.
Well, together, Carrie, we have a lot of things in this community that we do. And you are right. You are spot on. We're in a lot of places together. But Carrie, let's get this party started.
Ooh, can we bring up our first panel of amazing humans?
I think we should, Carrie. I think we should just get this party going.
Yay, let's do it. Maybe they're shy. Here they come.
Here they come. So we have whole crew coming in.
Yay! Awesome. I would love to kick off some intros, Kim. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we are joined by the friggin' fabulous Kat Corchado, who is the host of the Sisters in Service podcast. And Kat's podcast supports women veterans leading their purpose after their service life. Kat also founded the Small Space Pilates, which is an online fitness platform for us to work out in the comfort of our home. And don't be fooled by her sweet smile, she will kick your booty. So welcome to the stage, Kat. It's great to have you here. And I'm going to keep rolling here because we've got also Jill Olish. Jill is the founder of Mama Outspoken, bringing unique solutions to mama entrepreneurs. And Jill is also the executive leader of the My Sexy Business team and the producer for Good Morning Entrepreneurs. So, Jill, thank you for joining us. We also have Donna Bender, who is our certified givologist, and she demonstrates how to use branded products strategically and giving meaningful gifts to build long-lasting relationships with our clients. Donna, excited to have you here. We also have Melissa Botov-Eri, who is the host of the Leftover Pieces Suicide Lost Conversations podcast. Melissa is a certified grief companion and a leader of the sadly needed online support groups that two mums that have lost their child to suicide. Melissa recently launched the Because They Lived Legacy Project to share memories and stories for the mums of their amazing kids. And are we missing someone, Kim? I feel like somebody's missing.
We are. Denise Millay was not able to join us tonight. So, Denise, if you're watching, we just want to say we love you. And Carrie, you want to introduce her anyway and just tell that way she's included.
I will, of course. Denise couldn't be with us this evening, but Denise is the host of the Marketing Matters show. Denise is also our findability queen and guiding us through the scary land of SEO to help us reach our audience through our online platform. So, Denise, we're so sorry that you couldn't be here, but we'll be thinking of you and hope that you're tuning in.
That was a mouthful, Carrie. Thank you. And welcome, y'all.
Hey, everyone.
We're just going to come in hot, y'all. We're just going to go right there to the first question. Y'all know how we roll. So, Carrie, you want to just kick it off and ask him the first question, and we'll go around the stage?
Oh, hang on. I need to do some cat stretches and get a little bit warmed up here, I think. But yes, let's exactly. Thank you, Donna. Yeah, good demonstration. Okay, so the first question for our amazing panel is, what does leadership mean to you? So I'm going to just pick someone and then go through the panel and get their answers. So, Jill, what does leadership mean to you?
Of course, I'm right next to you, so you have to pick me first, right?
Stay in order. Don't move, anyone.
Leadership is, and I should know an answer for this because I've been practicing my leadership questions. Leadership is being able to be living proof, as well as being transparent and being comfortable with being comfortable with not knowing everything and willing to learn and ask for help. So somebody who demonstrates those things, I believe, makes a good leader, and someone who is willing to put themselves out there to be an example to others. That's my answer.
That's a great answer, Jill. Ooh, setting the bench really high. Ooh. Kat, what does leadership mean to you?
No clue. No, I have an answer. I think that to me, leadership means doing all the things that you don't want to do or that are hard to do and doing them anyway. Also doing those things that you don't know how to do for your business, but learning them. So getting the fear factor out of the way so that you can get to that place that you dreamt about when you first had this idea as a business, because we all have our why, and getting to that point. So I think that leadership is about leading yourself. You've got to be a good example for other people.
Ooh, great answers, Kat. Following Jill on that one. I love it. Donna, what does leadership mean to you?
Well, I agree with Jill and Kat. And what I want to add to that definition is a good leader is really someone who empowers others to lead and encourages them to help them rise to their best level. And it's someone who, doesn't talk about how many people follow them, but follow others to, and that could be people who are other leaders and follow people who they are encouraging to follow in their community. So
I like that, Donna. Great answer. Melissa, what does leadership mean to you?
Oh, it's always hard to go last because you're like, oh, they were reading my page. But no, I think, to piggyback a little bit on each of them, but Donna touched base on what I was going to say kind of the most, which is, to me, a lot of times people misconstrue leadership for the person that's in charge, and that's not always the case. I mean, in an entrepreneurship, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur, there's a duality there because you are essentially in charge. But to me, a true leader isn't just a boss, if you will. There's somebody who's willing to lead by example. Like Donna said, there's someone who essentially wants to be able to bring all of the people around them together in a way that they can lead them to a place that they outgrow you, the person that's, there, because that's every good leader should want everyone around them to outgrow them, in my opinion. So leaders aren't just someone who stands and directs. That's a director. Leaders are so much more than that. You have to be willing to do everything and essentially not get credit for it. Yeah.
Well, I like that, Melissa. Thank you. Kim, I'm going to throw it to you. What does leadership mean to you?
Oh, you were asking me the question. I'm looking to see what question I'm supposed to ask. Good, Carrie. Good one. So to me, leadership is probably one of the most important skills that we ever have to develop in our lives and our business. I think being a leader really means what everyone else has said, and standing for what you believe in, not, faltering when someone else is putting pressure on you, making sure that you're being an influencer that you are, because as a leader, you're an influencer as well. So I think those are both like really important things to think about: your impact, your influence, and how you are representing and living proof for other people.
Ooh, very nice. So, Kim, do you want to hop over to the next question?
Sure, Carrie. So we would like to know, what has helped you be a leader in your business? I'm going to start with Melissa Bottorff-Airy.
I could have put MBA on there. It would have been simpler. What has helped me be a leader in my business? Well, for one, experience, right? So there's experience has helped, because the more we do, I think the better we get at things. But to be a better leader in the business I'm in, the biggest influence I currently have is probably the community that I'm in. So being able to put yourself in a position that you share spaces with other people that are experiencing the same things and are looking to lead their own communities as well. So for me, that right now has helped me the most in this particular part of my journey.
Thank you. Tana, what has helped you to be a leader in your business?
Well, you see, it's all my past lives, because that's how I feel this life has been going. There's been a lot of those. I'm joking, but it is true. It is the years of working and all the different, it's like I'm using the word cat, but not this cat, like a real cat having 9 lives. There's a lot of things that I've done throughout my career, and I think it's one experience just leads you to another step, to the next one. And I'm such a firm believer in you are a product of all your experiences, and the way to succeed is to learn what works and continue to do that, and learn what doesn't work and stop doing that, or change the direction of that. And it's being really aware. And but I do think that having years of experience in when things go badly, and your one business may go down, and then you got to pick yourself up and come back again. So I think drive for me is one of the things that continually helps me become continue to be a leader and continue to put one foot in front of the other. So it's like it's like that. I don't know who said it, but it's hard to just give up. It's not my nature. So
You are definitely tenacious, Donna. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. I would never have said that was a good quality years ago.
We need to bring that conversation up in a little while. That's a great leadership conversation. Let's go to Kat for now, though. And Kat, what has helped you be a leader in your business?
I think one of the great attributes for a leader is knowing when you've made a mistake and owning up to it. And when you are in a leadership position, whether it's in your business, is realizing you've made the mistake, or maybe you don't know you made the mistake, but also being in this community where it feels like a safe place to say, okay, this was good, but let's up level it a little bit. Here's how we can fix this. And so it makes it easier to, say, did I do this right? Because we want to be right all the time. Well, not all the time, but you don't want to make any mistakes as an entrepreneur. And so it's really hard, to admit that you made the mistake, but you don't know what you don't know. And so being in this community, when someone says, oh, you can do it like this, and it makes sense to you, then you feel like you can move the needle forward in your business.
Thank you, Kat. Jill, what has helped you be a leader in your business?
Oh, I think it's the leaders that I know in my life that have showed good examples of what a good leader is, as well as the community that I've found who are also building their businesses and practicing good leadership as well. So it's really the relationships that I currently have with those who are practicing, as well as who are already good leaders. And having those examples have really helped a lot. People I look up to and I can go to for examples of how to better myself as a leader.
Great answer, Jill. And Carrie, I didn't realize we were answering the question, so I think we have 2 questions for you. Do you want to answer the first one first?
I will, and I was waiting for you to kind of throw me under the bus with that one, Kim, I'll confess, and we kind of didn't plan that. So, yeah, anything can happen.
I was just turned around, Carrie. I got my bearings back now. Now you have to answer the questions.
Okay, so the first question was, what does leadership mean to you? And to me, leadership is the guiding light for everything that we're doing. It can be in our business or in our personal life. And I feel like leadership always has a forward position in our thinking and what we're doing. I've always worked in the capacity of, if I ask someone else to do something, it's something that I'm prepared to do myself. So as a leader, and to quote there's something out there by probably very famous people, that leaders eat last. And I'm a very firm believer in that one as well. So leadership to me is about demonstrating the most of what we want in our life, our business, and everything that we do.
Love that quote, Carrie.
Stole it from someone.
So can you answer the next question of what has helped you be a leader in your business?
Oh, yeah, that's a big question. I think what has helped me the most is being a sponge in everything and sponging from people, definitely having people in my life that are guiding me and some people that we don't even have personal relationships with. It could be someone out in the universe that we follow that is actually someone helping us. It's a one-way conversation. There's not the two-way connection. And I think just, yeah, being open to possibilities and influence in our life as well can help us be a better leader in our business overall.
Great answers, Carrie.
Shall we move into the next question, Kim?
I think so.
Okay, I'm going to flip the script here, Kim, so I hope you keep up. I want to know from our panel, what is a leadership quality that you wish you had started with? So I'm going to ask Jill first.
There's so many. I think it's peopling, because that is the one that, and it's a funky, I think it's probably going to end up in the Princess Speak vocab book, peopling, because, but the understanding of people that I interact with and having to be on point when I'm around people, and then the exhaustion that comes after doing a lot of peopling, and that melty time that comes with it. I wish I had practiced that more earlier in my leadership, which I'm pretty sure some people will say I'm really good at it already outside of this community. So I might get some slack from that from whoever is watching, but I still think it's something I can continue to be better at and wish that I had started that sooner.
I love that, Jill. Thank you. Kat, what leadership quality do you wish you'd started with?
I think trusting my gut, like leaning in more to trusting that my gut was going to guide me, even though it was telling me certain things, I was going in the opposite direction and being wrong every time. So I think trusting my gut and knowing that it was the right thing to do. I think I wish that I had trusted it more sooner. So yeah.
Great answer, Kat. Thank you. Donna, what's a leadership quality that you wish you'd started with? And you're talking on mute, Donna.
I don't know how that happened. On the same level as Jill's, I wish that I was aware of all the different personality tests to be able to have worked with people I've hired and people, that I was working with, to know a better way to work within someone's strengths and to avoid their weaknesses. Because I think we put, it's human nature to put expectations on things. And if you're giving someone something to do and it's certainly not within their wheelhouse, but they're too proud to, say, oh, I can't do it. I think just knowing the certain traits within each individual, I think would have been very helpful.
Great answer. Yeah, great answer, Donna. Thank you. Melissa, what's a leadership quality you wish you'd started with?
Well, it's similar to what Kat said, but not quite exactly the same. I wish I had trusted myself more. I wish that I had built my confidence muscles earlier in life. I mean, I feel like they're mostly there at this point, although we all dip and dive, right? But for the most part, but I wish that I had started with those skills first. And I think they kind of go hand in hand with also wishing that I had learned the value early on of taking care of myself better. Because the better you take care of yourself as a leader, the better you can perform and be there for other people. So I have often in my past pushed myself to the point of, it not being good. And then when it's not good for us, it's not good for anybody around us. And so I think those two things, having trust and confidence in myself and just self-confidence in general, which in a girls club, as we happen to be on the stage right now, we all understand where some of that comes from. We kind of have to learn self-confidence if we weren't taught it growing up, and then taking care of ourselves. So that's what I wish I had led with and learned quicker.
Love it, Melissa. Thank you. Kim, would you like to answer this question?
Yes, Carrie, thank you. I think honestly, I would like to have learned earlier how to recognize things sooner, like to not realize I didn't know a lot of things. It was hard when I did realize all of a sudden that I thought I had the whole picture in my head and it really wasn't the whole thing. And I think that is probably one of the things I wish I would have recognized, that the more we know, the more we realize we don't know. And just that awareness, I think, is probably the thing I wish I would have started sooner with.
Oh, that's good, Kim.
And Carrie?
So I'm just going to say ditto to everyone, because everyone's brought pieces that I'm sure all of us have gone, oh, yes, absolutely. And also for me, I think I really wish I was in my 40s when I started, because I feel like the age and maturity and a little bit of, street smarts that have come with me have been probably one of the biggest things that I wish I started with. And so, yeah, let's just rewind the clock, go back in time and take our 40 plus self with us and take that wisdom that we probably needed all those years ago.
I love that answer, Carrie. That kind of ties into the next question, and I'm going to flip it again, Carrie.
Okay.
Because I think everybody here represents a lifetime of amazing things, like an adventure, because entrepreneurship is an adventure for sure. But I would love to know what you would say to someone that's brand new or struggling as an entrepreneur. What advice would you give them today where you are? Because you all are rock stars and know so many things. What would you say to someone who is new or struggling? And Carrie, will you kick us off this time, actually?
Oh, bugger. I like to just ditto everybody else. Now I'm in the hot seat. I think my biggest piece of advice for anyone new or struggling is there's a song out there called Let It Be. However, I also believe in letting it happen. We can't force things. Therefore, we need to recognize maybe it's not the right time for us. Maybe a different time is the right time, or maybe we're struggling with an element of our business or thinking about a brand new business and how to pull that together. We need an element of calm in us to let those things happen. And we're going to make mistakes. That is just a given. Find people that you can get examples from and seek the help that we all need. We all need help being an entrepreneur. So don't let your pride get in the way of finding people that can help you on your journey.
Excellent, Carrie. Jill, I'm going to ask you the same question.
I actually like what Melissa said that she wished she had learned earlier, which is how to take care of herself, not how to, but taking care of herself better. And that would be self-care, because burnout is a real thing and you don't want that early on because it might really train wreck, but you can figure it out, put down boom gates, and focus on yourself at the same time as the business. And finding that harmony might take a little bit, but It's possible. You'll get there. You'll find what flows for you as long as you're making sure you take care of yourself right alongside your business.
Great answer, Jill. Kat.
I think I would tell someone to just stand still for a minute and figure out what is it the business itself? Are you stuck in the business? Or, as we all know, we tend to get in our own way sometimes. And so, I would tell them to just take a minute, just stop and think, and just be, and try to figure that out. If it's the business, to surround yourself with a community that is supportive and that can help you through that sticking point. And the community could probably also help you if you're in your own way too, because we want to go real fast, right, Kim? We want to go real fast, and we have to slow down a little bit and enjoy that journey. So that's what I would say.
I love that answer, Kat. Thank you. Donna, what would you say to someone that's brand new or struggling as an entrepreneur?
Well, I feel very fortunate that early on in my career, not necessarily my immediate boss, but I had 2 other women in my life that were not necessarily entrepreneurs, but had high positions in corporate America that were my mentors. And I got a chance to see firsthand how they dealt with things. One in particular was she was the president of a huge retail operation, but she was all work and no play. So I got a chance to see that aspect. And I feel that it's our responsibility, or I personally feel it's my responsibility to be a mentor to other women coming up or learning, because I felt that I had been given that opportunity as well. And so the other thing is to be able to, similar to Kat, to be able to be in the moment and look where your feet are. And if they're right there in front of you, that's where your head needs to be. Because I know for myself, I could worry. I could put myself 2 weeks from now instead of being in the moment. So it's just something to it's like a anchor to pull someone back and say, where are your feet right now? So.
Great answer, Donna.
Thank you.
So, Kim, what's your... Oh, I'm sorry. Melissa. Yes. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Do you want me to just ditto everybody?
Yes.
She's last. She just dittoed everybody. No, honestly, so for anybody that doesn't know, I'm a retired executive chef before I started this part of my journey. And so I'm going to do what I tend to do a lot, but Kim's used a similar example before. I mean, I'm going to default to food and stuff because it's easy for me, but you think about what kind of meal do you really want? Do you want a microwave meal? And I'm not going to use the crock pot. Sorry, Kim. But do you want a microwave meal, or do you want a meal that somebody spent a lot of time, love, care, bought the right ingredients, did all the things for? Microwave, you just peel it off and throw it in, right? But with a real meal, you have to have the right ingredients. You have to have the right recipe. You have to slow down to get everything in place. So I feel like you have to decide really early on your details. You have to decide what you want as your end result, which means you have to think about a bigger picture, and you have to be patient. You don't make a good meal in 5 minutes. You can make some microwave, stuff that might be edible in 5 minutes, but you aren't going to produce a quality product that's going to, wow and amaze and take care of people. And so I feel like it's that kind of thing. Somebody that's new has to stop and realize that you have to decide really early on what you're going for. Because if it's quick, you're going to get the results of that quick effort, right? And if you take the time and slow down and write a recipe and go about doing all the things you can to institute it and prepare it correctly, then you're going to be preparing for a bigger picture. And it takes patience and time to be an entrepreneur and build a business that's going to sustain you for the long haul, not just one that's going to give you a quick fix and be in a few months you're going to have some great results and then nothing, right? Exactly. Which, that goes to really learning to cook versus just using the microwave. If you really learn to cook, you can feed yourself for a lifetime. Otherwise, you better hope that there's enough microwave meals in the freezer, right? So there you go. Not the answer you probably expected, but that's the one I have.
I love that answer.
So, Kim, now what is your answer to the question?
Well, I know everybody's going to be really surprised by my answer. It's probably the first time they'll ever hear it. And that is, I think we need to slow down so we can speed up. I know all of you are shocked. But I think, honestly, in the entrepreneur adventure, slow is fast. When you're doing fast, it means you're going to get slow results. And when you're doing it slow and you're being aware, you're going to get faster results. So I think that that's an important part of this. And like Melissa said, you don't want the wrong results. If you really want to build something that's going to last, you have to put in the effort in the beginning to lay that foundation and get those pieces right. So I think that is, I know y'all, I'm a broken record.
Not at all. Kim, that was amazing. So we have another question for everyone. What do you think is the difference between a fierce entrepreneur and an entrepreneur? And I'm going to start with Melissa.
Is it funny? Because I almost looked around for Izzy. I was like, not me. Oh, yeah, me. So the difference between a fierce entrepreneur and just an entrepreneur. I think it's tenacity. Sometimes an entrepreneur is doing things every entrepreneur isn't doing things for the right reason. So some entrepreneurs are doing it out of desperation. Some are doing it out of wanting that quick buck overnight. Some are doing it because they think it's the cool thing to do, fill in the blank. Some did it because of COVID, right? There's a lot of reasons that people can become an entrepreneur, but I think a fierce entrepreneur has a real drive inside of them and has true tenacity.
That's such a great answer. Thank you, Melissa. Donna, what do you think is the difference between a fierce entrepreneur and an entrepreneur?
I think I'm a poster child for the fierce entrepreneur. I think a fierce entrepreneur is someone, as MBA was saying, with tenacity, with drive, with a direction, with a purpose, and it's not necessarily let me do it quickly, but let me do it well, right, and let it be, and not with blinders on, but certainly focused. Because there are entrepreneurs that have a lot of different businesses, and that's what they like doing. They just like juggling businesses, and they get other people to work for them. But I think a fierce entrepreneur is someone who rolls up their sleeves and does the work too. So,
great answer. Thank you, Donna. Kat, what's your answer?
I think the difference between a fierce entrepreneur and an entrepreneur is, okay, let me backtrack for a second. Y'all know that the word entrepreneur and we're still in the honeymoon phase. We just got married not too long ago. And I called myself an entrepreneur for years. But I didn't like what I was doing. If I asked you, hey, you want to buy my thing? And you're like, no, I'm like, okay, fine. And I was okay with that. But I think a fierce entrepreneur is playing the long game. They know what their why is. They know that if they get knocked down, they get back up, no matter how slow it might take. And they realize that they keep moving forward. And so a regular entrepreneur is just like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. So then they don't. And there's no consequences, there's nothing. And so I think that we're all pictures of that fierce entrepreneur, i.e., the Fierce Entrepreneur Summit. Yes.
Great answer, Kat. Thank you. Jill, what's your answer?
Oh, I think it's passion. I mean, I can hear that in everyone else's answer too. It's the drive behind the why, because anybody can start any business, but if the passion's not there, is it really going to go that far? And are you going to be able to do all of the things that come with it, like we're trying to learn to do right now, and grow and learn, strengthen our muscles in all the things? And if that passion's not there, are we really that fierce? Are we going to want to protect those around us, or be able to be the solution for the people that mean the most to us? And the whole reason why we're here, building our own entrepreneurial adventure.
Love it. Thank you, Jill. Miss Kim?
So I might be a little spicy with my answer, y'all, tonight after hearing all of y'all. I have been in positions where I had to do what I call scramble, where I was an entrepreneur and I had to scramble to feed my babies. So I want to make it clear to everybody listening that that is something that you can be very fierce while you're scrambling, but there's a better way. And I think that's the fierce part. The fierce part is figuring out how you own your business and it doesn't own you. You fiercely protect those that are, you're taking care of, because we do in business take care of people. And I think it's the difference between having something that we're pitching out into the world versus having something that we're offering the world because we know we're a solution for them. So that is my little spicy tonight, Carrie.
I love it.
And your answer, Carrie? Oh, we started with you, didn't we? No, we didn't.
No. Oh, I don't think so. Damn, I nearly got out of it. I am literally a combination of what everyone said, and the biggest word for me was passion, like Jill, and drive and determination. However, something else that you said, Kim, resonated with me and was kind of part of my answer is being passionate to help others, because I feel like, as we've all demonstrated, anyone can start a business and here buy my thing. However, if you really want people to be invested in your business because you, as Kim said, do solve a problem, it is that passion behind the help and assistance that we can give others that I think does bring fierce to the table.
Ooh, I like that term. We need to keep that. We're bringing fierce to the table, y'all.
Get your knife and fork.
So, Kim, do you have any other questions for our panel?
Well, I kind of have a flip for this, Carrie. I want to know if they have questions or they want to offer something about leadership, because this is really important to us, this whole topic and the whole adventure of being an entrepreneur. We live and breathe this. Carrie and I lead, multiple spaces where we are very passionate about this. And we'd love to hear if you all have come to the table with anything tonight that you want to share. I see Melissa's face.
I'll share.
Please.
So, in thinking about leadership before tonight's summit, I thought about some things that were what I think a lot of times people misconstrue as leadership. What I kind of talked about earlier, where you see bosses versus leaders, or directors versus leaders. And I don't necessarily mean title of a director, because you could have a title as a director but be a good leader. I just mean people that tend to dictate versus lead. And a lot of times there's a misconstrue. And I think sometimes we wonder why it's important, why leadership is important. And I was thinking about that in my world specifically, but I think it applies to a lot of our worlds because, and Kim, I think you and I talked about this fairly recently. Without leadership, we end up with chaos. We end up with rogue societies, right? We end up with lawlessness, and that's a general term, like that's like gives us a visual. But in my world, leadership's important because without it, not only is there not somebody steering the ship, right? We don't need a boat going, without somebody steering it. But it leads to things like it takes your fear and makes your fear calm. It quells the chaos. Leadership creates trust in people versus distrust. Leadership creates a safe space for people, which is the opposite of them feeling afraid. So I think that we a lot of times miss some of the most important points of leadership because we just think it's just somebody to be at the helm, but it's so much more than that. I was thinking about how we've talked about things in my community, but without a leader, all of those things exist. There's fear and there's no productivity because everybody's running in circles. And the leader doesn't have to be obvious all the time. I mean, I think about a giant beehive. Most of us can't point the queen out, right? But everybody has an order and a place and a duty, and it ends up in this productive, calm. I know that doesn't think about calm as a bunch of buzzing bees, but they really are very orderly, and everybody has a role, but the role is led by that one queen, and she isn't, you don't find her easily, right? She's not sitting in a place of, oh, look, there's the queen. She's in the queen's place. She's going throughout her hive and intermixing. I know her job isn't exactly the same, but to us it appears to be because she's just a bee on the tray, right? She's just a bee in the hive. So I just kind of thought about some of that as I thought about coming into this tonight, as how true leadership is really so much more than so many people think it is, and how important it is to the entire climate of a community is hinged upon the right leadership. And, back to the kitchen, of course, I didn't become my dream job as a chef until later in life. I didn't start that out of the gate. I tried, and I had a mother who talked me out of it. And then I went and did it anyway. Tenacious, right? Went and did it anyway. But I remember multiple people telling me, wow, you're so calm. You're like the calmest chef I've ever worked for. And I said, well, I can either throw pots and be angry and scream. Like when something went wrong, they would say that. Why are you so calm? I said, or we can just go about this as a team and get it done. But either way, we have to do it. So which environment do you want to exist in? Do you want to exist in one where somebody's working alongside you and we're going to figure this out and we're going to go step by step? Or do you want someone throwing pots across the kitchen, putting you down and screaming? Whole different environment. And everybody ends up, and look at which one do you think is more productive? Which one do you think ended up turning out the better product, right? So yeah, I think leadership is so much more than people think it is. So that's what I have to offer. Next.
I love that. And I'd like to, I want to Dawn, I want you to go next, Bill. I just want to speak to one thing Melissa said. When you are leading by fear, that's not really true leadership in my eyes. When you are leading by example and you are a solution giver and a solution finder and a solution offerer, like that to me is leadership. When somebody's afraid of what they're going to do or what's going to happen, I feel like that's the tyranny part. Like, I feel like that's the part that you're right, it's not productive. And so I feel like that is such a representation of fears. It's not about scaring people. It's actually about protecting them. It's literally about protecting those around us instead of, scaring them into doing what you want. So I love that you brought that to the table. Donna.
What was the question?
It was just, do you have any thoughts about leadership you want to share for tonight?
Yeah, I was teasing.
You got me.
it's interesting because when I was growing up, and even when I was growing up in a working environment, it wasn't necessarily an encouraging space. You know, it wasn't people I was surrounded with that was like, oh, you know, it always felt like, you know, and probably why I have so much drive. It was just I felt like I had to do it on my own for the most part, and I feel that we have so much to learn as leaders from younger people coming into the workforce, and that where my environment was always, oh, that leader knew the best, knew the most, knew the every answer to everything, and anybody who was younger, what did they know, you know? And it is like the pendulum has flipped, and what I love is what I can learn from someone younger than me, and especially someone who's very good at technology, who is sitting in my right upper corner of the screen. But Jill is a prime example of what I'm referring to. My daughter is a prime example of what I'm referring to. You know, it's there's so much to learn from someone like Jill. And, you know, I wish that there were people around like Jill when we were all, you know, starting our own businesses, because I think she has so much to offer. And so it's just really being, I lost everybody on my screen. It's just being really open-minded and you know, supportive of what other people have to offer. And we don't always have all the answers, but I think if you encourage and support, you know, people coming into the workforce and what they have to offer, you get so much more back in return. So that's what I wanted to share.
Definitely agree with that. And we love our Jillo. Just saying out loud publicly. Kat, did you have something you wanted to share?
I just think that when you're talking about leadership, I think one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was in the military. And sometimes being a leader is you've overcome so many obstacles and come out on the other side. And, you know, being a single parent in the military, there were all kinds of obstacles, hurdles, because everyone's expectation of me was very, very low. And my boss, who I had at the time, led by example. And he said to me, if you find that you've made a mistake, come tell me, because then we can fix it. Because admitting the mistake right then and there, you save time and you take the argument out of the whole situation. And so that was one of the best pieces of advice, because now, you know, who did that? I'm like, yeah, that was me. Sorry. Yep, I did that. And it just, if more people did that, and I understand that you have to be in an environment, and this is an environment like that allows for that. But also younger people are looking at you, and you don't even realize they're looking at you, and they're going, ooh, the quiet leader is what I call. Not the one who's selling you the Kool-Aid, but the ones who are out there, just, you see their posts, you see all the stuff they're doing, and you're like, you never see them, you know, oh, me, and me, and me. And so I think being a quiet leader, admitting upfront your mistake, you know, not beating yourself up for it, but making that quick pivot and making that correction, I think is the sign of someone becoming a good leader.
Great example, Kat. And it reminds me of the summit we did, Impact Over Noise. It's not about being the loudest, it's about being the most impactful. And I think you just summed that up. That's pretty amazing. Jill, did you have anything you wanted to share about leadership?
As we all have been talking about it and how leadership takes a role as being an entrepreneur, I'm realizing that when I started, this only 3 years ago, I was not expecting, I didn't put the two together, that an entrepreneur was also a leader or needed to be a good leader to have their business grow in the right direction and a good direction. And I'm realizing now that, oh my gosh, it all makes sense. But I love having the community around me that are inspiring to me. So you all might say something really positive and highlighting me, but you guys are all just as somebody else I look up to as well. Because, I mean, I'm the baby of the group, and you all maybe not have the same, you might all actually be in the same kind of a age in entrepreneurship as me, but you all have so much more wisdom in life than me. So I love learning that and how it all shows through your leadership. And having that as a role model is so much more helpful in bettering myself as a leader in this position, not knowing that I needed to until kind of like right now with my light bulb moment as we're talking. So, yeah.
That's
I
so
didn't
great.
realize that they go hand in hand. So that's my my contribution for right now.
Oh my
Great.
goodness. I love light bulb moments, Jill.
That was great.
Carrie, what do you have to say as we finish out this panel? Because it's almost time.
It is almost time. I'm really sad that these guys are going to be leaving us, but we do have a second panel coming through, so more conversation to be had. My final thoughts for this in the leadership area is just be open. Be open to what's possible, no matter what stage you're at in your business journey, and know that there's other people out there to support you.
Mm.
Great, Carrie. And we want to make sure everybody knows too that we do have an after party that will start about an hour from now, where we're going to be hanging out with the speakers and, just having conversations after the summit. So if anyone doesn't already know, you're invited. Let us know if you want. Yeah, you speakers need to have already known that. But it's fun to hang out with everybody afterwards because we get to talk more and we get to have fun. So we want to invite everybody to that as well. So thank you so much, ladies, for being with us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 See you in a little bit. Love you.
So, Kim, we have another fierce entrepreneur that wasn't able to be here in person that we would like to. We've got a little video. We actually have something ready to roll in just a minute. We would love to introduce you to Melissa Stetcher, who is our Izzy. And Melissa is spreading hope with her professional organising so that we can achieve a less stressed lifestyle using her 3S method and just 15 minutes a day. Kim, do you want to add anything before we go to that recording?
Just to frame it, Izzy couldn't be here live with us, so we did a quick little recording and have clips of that. We have of course, too long of conversations, as we always do, Carrie, but we have a short clip so that everybody can get to know Izzy as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have Izzy with us today, and yes, Izzy is what we call her. We say it's AKA Melissa Stetcher, but really it's the opposite. So, as an entrepreneur, and you're fierce, ma'am, will you tell me the difference, in your opinion, of a fierce entrepreneur and an entrepreneur?
A fierce entrepreneur and an entrepreneur. One is fierce. Kind of like no, because I think the fierce part is the willing to keep learning and keep going and not being creepy and not giving up, but always getting up. Where an entrepreneur is like, I have a business. It's a title instead of a being in my brain. I think for me, being one is the reminder to get up, right? When you're going through that hard crap, you can look back, as Kim would say, in your evidence file, and look back at, your scars and be like, all right, fine, I'll get up again. But knowing that I will get up again is what resonates in my being about it. It's like my soul going, all right, you've had enough, now get up. It's not, you've been down long enough, you felt bad long enough, you all of that. And that really helps when business is hard, when life is hard, when the whole package of being a human entrepreneur is hard. Knowing that fierceness layer comes of, well, you're getting back up. Might take a little longer. That's the bit for me.
So I have another question, Izzy. As an entrepreneur, especially a fierce one, we are leaders. It takes leadership to get back up, as you were saying, or it takes leadership to really lead ourselves first. And then others who are part of our business, also, we are leading them, whether they're team or group or customer, client, whatever it is, we are leading them. What do you do to learn how to lead all of those places better? What do you do to grow in that way?
I listen. I listen to the struggles. I listen to I've tried these. I listen to I'm not, I can't, I won't. And then I sprinkle that hope all over you. Like,
In those moments, what does it mean to you to spread the hope?
I am raised with the ethic to work. I think just know when you need somebody else to give you hope and go get it. Sometimes you can't manufacture and create it yourself because we're humans, and that stuff is hard. Then, you just layer your other stuff on top of it. Like, oh, I'm going to run a business. Oh, I'm going to write a book. Oh, I'm going to try to take the kids to soccer. And you pick all these layers. Sometimes you run out. And just recognize it. Like, recognize and be like, look, I can't today. Can you just send me extra love this week? No questions asked. And that's okay. And it's okay to ask. Just ask the right people, right? just know the people that have you solid. No questions asked. Yeah. And stay hopeful, of course.
Oh, amazing. Izzy, we hope we did you proud.
And I love that she told us to stay hopeful. That is perfect. That's completely Izzy.
Always, always. So, Kim, I think we have another panel of amazing entrepreneurs joining us. So I'm pretty excited. We're at the halfway mark and we're powering through. And Kim, before we bring those amazing entrepreneurs to stage, I think we just need to throw in a little reminder of why we're here. And that is to come together and highlight these fierce entrepreneurs and show the world what's possible. Let me see if I can get it right. When you dare to do what you dream about. Is that the one, Kim?
That is great, Carrie.
And of course, we are your hosts. This is Kim White. I'm Kerry Zarb, and I'm going to kick off some introductions of our next panel of amazing entrepreneurs that are going to be joining us on stage. And I'm going to be completely transparent, Kim, and say that I bring up my little script over the screen when I do this, so I can at least be somewhat looking at the camera. So if people start coming in, Kim, you wave for me because I'll just be busy talking. Is that okay?
I'm always the waver, Carrie.
Yay! And I hope I've got it right. So maybe I should actually, I don't even know who's in. I'm just going to go with it. Let's just kick it off, shall we?
Let's go, Carrie.
So, one of the amazing entrepreneurs joining us is Adam Rothenberg, who is the king of interviewing. Adam has over 1,500 interviews across his mic. He has interviewed some huge names in the world of entertainment, and he shares the behind the scenes via his podcast, Bearing It All with Call Me Adam, and has been covering interview mediums for over 14 years. So we're excited to have Adam joining us. We're also joined by Holly Totten, who is our resident writing coach. Holly is the host of the Teaching Yourself to Learn podcast and the leader of the New Author Intensive. And I'm just going to quote this for Holly. Holly believes that not everyone is a writer, yet everyone can be an author. So Holly is also joining us. I can't see anyone, so I'll just keep going. All the way from thank you. All the way from Tasmania, Australia, Linda Bonney is an amazing conversationalist. Linda's podcast, Stories with a Sunday Roast, is living proof of her ability to produce amazing content. And by the way, guys, she also shares another podcast with Jill, which is Mucked Up My Self-Care. So I wanted to mention both of those. And I hope we're also joined by our resident age agitator, the host of the Late Bloomer Living podcast, Yvonne Marchese, who is also the founder of the Midlife Uprising community. And Yvonne is here to help us bust through our midlife funk. So that is all of our introductions. I hope now that I can see my screen. Yes, everyone's here. Yay!
You did a great job, Carrie.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you.
We're excited all of you are here with us tonight.
Questions? We've got questions. We need to move into questions.
Yes, and I think Yvonne was trying to say something on mute. I think she's related to me.
I think I flipped it. I hit the mute when I shouldn't have, so I was just saying it's great to be here.
Thank you, Yvonne.
We're so glad you're here.
So, Kim, do you want to kick off the first question or shall I?
Oh, Carrie, I want you to.
Of course you do. Of course you do. All right. The first question for our amazing panel is, what does leadership mean to you? I'm going to go in order of the screen because it's way easier. So, Adam, you are first up, my friend.
Leadership to me means from a like not being in the leadership role, of seeing somebody who can take command of the situation and who's there to guide you through it all, through the ups and downs and the sideways, and they can instruct you to help get the job done.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam. Yvonne, what does leadership mean to you?
Leadership to me means being willing to take a chance, stick your neck out, do your best, and be an example and hope for the best.
I love it. Thank you, Yvonne. Holly, what does leadership mean to you?
I don't know if I can follow hope for the best, but we will see. I love that, Yvonne. You know, when I think about leadership, I think that as people, we are leaders in some ways and we are led in other ways. And so I think leadership plays a really big role in our life for that purpose, because we are either being led or we're leading. And so I don't know. I think it means to me that it's a very important part of my life in both ways.
Oh, I love that, Holly. Thank you. Linda Bonney, what does leadership mean to you? Oh, we don't have any audio on Linda.
Try that button.
There we go.
There we go. Oh, sorry. Probably a classic example. Leadership means a little bit of trying different buttons, perseverance, endurance, a whole lot of listening, both internally and externally, and curiosity in asking questions for yourself and other people.
Wow, really good answer, Linda. Thank you. And everyone had amazing answers, Kim. And we've already answered these questions in the first round. So shall we skip us, Kim?
I think we should skip us, Carrie.
Okay. Kim, would you like to fire off the next question to our amazing panel?
I would love to, Carrie. I'm going to say this is could be a really spicy question for some of them. What has helped you be a leader in your business? And I think we'll go backwards in the stage. Linda, would you tell us what has helped you be a leader in your business?
Having others around me that believe in me. Yep.
Holly, what has helped you be a leader in your business?
I didn't know if you were going to call on me or I just needed to jump in there. I wasn't sure. Being the forever teacher, I was waiting my turn.
I love it.
So what has helped me be a leader, I think, is the amazing community that I'm involved with, and the people that care about me and are leading me in a way to do that. But I also think that a lot of it stems from my background, from being a teacher and leading students, and just some of the things I've done in my past. So I think it's a nice combination of both of those aspects.
Great answer, Holly. Yvonne, what has helped you be a leader in your business?
The community that Linda and Holly have already brought up is a huge factor of it. And beyond that, I think what has helped me to become a leader is my background in the theater, and when you're an actor, you face a lot of rejection. And so you have to build those muscles to keep going when the going is tough. And I think that has served me.
Great answer, Yvonne. Adam, what has helped you be a leader in your business?
I will have to concur with everybody. Definitely having a community that you can bounce ideas off of, that can help you stay accountable, that can push you maybe when you don't want to do something, that will voluntold you to do things. So all of those things have definitely helped me be a leader and to see how I can do things. Also, maybe not necessarily in a quicker way, but sometimes in a better or more efficient way. And because of that, it does sometimes then take less time, because they've shown me a better way to do it that's more productive.
And Carrie, we need to speak really quickly about Adam, because he's saying it as if he's not a leader, and he leads like a ton of things in the community. So I just have to speak to that really quickly.
I'm glad you brought that up, Kim, because I was going to jump on Adam and say, what? Like, no. I agree. So, Kim, we're going to hop into our next question. Going to get everyone's little brains turning and the cogs working. I want to know what leadership quality you wish you had when you started. And I'm going to kick it off with, I'm going to Linda as well. I'm going to do this. Linda, what's the leadership quality you wish you had when you started?
Ooh. Patience, a bit more patience. Instead of trying to skip ahead to D, F, G, L, M, N, O, P, and Z. Absolutely guilty.
We all are, absolutely, yes. Great answer, Linda. Holly, what is a leadership quality you wish you'd started with?
Well, I'm going to go with what immediately popped into my mind, and I think it's recognizing success. And I don't really mean for others, because I'm really quick to recognize the success in others, but it's harder to recognize that in myself. And I think that's important to help you move forward and continue on. And that's something I'm working on. You know, I mean, we're all a work in progress. I don't care how long you've been an entrepreneur, I think. So, yeah, I think that's my answer. Recognizing success more so in myself than in others.
Oh, such a great answer, Holly. Thank you. Yvonne, what's a leadership quality you wish you had?
I'm having a hard time with this. When I started my photography business, when I started the podcast, I wasn't thinking of myself as a leader. I was thinking of myself as a storyteller, and I have had to learn how to get comfortable with using my voice as a leader. The only thing that allowed me to even start a podcast was the idea that I didn't have to be an expert to have a podcast, that I could just share my journey and the stories of other people, and that would be enough. And what I'm learning is how to get brave about saying what's in my heart and on my mind, and stepping out and being brave about being a leader, about the ideas that I have.
Great answers, Yvonne. Thank you. Adam, what's the leadership quality that you wish you had when you started?
I liked Holly's answer of definition of success, but I'll also add that I wish I had more self-confidence, and not that I don't have it deep down inside of me. I wish I had it, that it would come out towards other people. So I don't know if it's an outward self-confidence that I'm trying to say, but I would have liked, like, I'm just gonna give a quick example. Like in one of my reviews, one of my bosses used to say that I was like shy, not shy, but I didn't instill confidence in people. So that is what I'm trying to say. I wish I had the ability to instill confidence in people earlier on than maybe I do now.
That's a great answer, Adam. Thank you.
So, Carrie, our next question is, what would you say to someone that is brand new or struggling as an entrepreneur? What advice would each of you give someone who is brand new or struggling? I want to flip it back to Adam.
I would say don't give up and find a community and to keep going, because you're going to catch on eventually and things are going to come to light. Even if it takes a year or two, you are eventually going to understand what you're supposed to be doing and the direction you're supposed to be going.
Great advice, Adam. Yvonne, what would you say to someone that is brand new or struggling as an entrepreneur?
What Adam said? Be patient with the process and yourself. And one of the things that you and I both love, Kim, is the idea of slowing down to speed up. And that goes with the whole patience idea. Surround yourself as much as you can with people who get the process that you're going through, because not everybody will. A lot of the people in your life, if they are not entrepreneurs, will not be able to understand your ups and downs. And so if you can surround yourself with people who do, I mean, those people in your life, they're going to provide you with great support. And I'm not saying they don't, but it is important to have people around you who are walking the path too, and are there to buoy you up in those dire days of woe is me, and it's all not happening, and I don't know what I'm doing, and
I love all of that. Holly?
Well, I loved that because Yvonne, I do think it's very important in everything that you just said, and Adam as well. I think my number one advice to someone would be to find your community and relish in them and believe in them and understand that they really do want the best for you when you find the right community. I think that's very, very important. And then the other thing, I have two answers, so I hope that's okay. My other important thing is that I think you always need to remember your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Because things get hard and, you get melty and things don't go the right way and you mess up and run out of money and, all the things. And when all that happens, if you can remember why you're doing this, you can keep going forward.
Great answers with an S. Linda, what would you say to someone that is brand new or struggling as an entrepreneur?
I think I'd pose it as a little bit of a question. And I'd ask, remember when you were learning how to peel an orange? Okay, so when we peel an orange, the outside layer is really hard and tough. And if we've got really short fingernails, we can't get into it. If we're 6 or 4, we just want to get a knife and cut it instead. And it takes a lot of practice to learn how to peel an orange. And sometimes all you want is an apple or a banana, which is a lot easier to peel. But once you actually get your nail in under the peel for that first layer, that first insert or first dig into what you're getting into. And once we start taking off all of that peel and get inside, the juiciest bits are in the middle and on the inside, and then it's quite delicious and nourishing and quenches our thirst and all sorts of things are very enjoyable. And we can share the orange with all of the other people around us at the same time. So, yeah.
It's a great analogy.
I have another question. I would like to know from our panel, what do you think is the difference between being a fierce entrepreneur and an entrepreneur? So I'm going to go to Adam.
Well, I think being a fierce entrepreneur is somebody who goes through the hills, valleys, and plateaus, and they don't give up. They go sideways. They find a way to get back on the road, and they persevere. That's what I think a fierce entrepreneur is. Do you want a definition of like an entrepreneur too?
Well, it was the difference between a fierce and an entrepreneur. So I feel like you've guided us well, Adam. But you can expand if you want to.
No, I'm good.
Oh, thank you, Adam. Yvonne, what do you think the difference is between a fierce entrepreneur and an entrepreneur?
I think the difference in my mind between a fierce entrepreneur and an entrepreneur, when I think of an entrepreneur in general, I think of somebody who buys businesses, runs businesses, owns businesses. They like maybe the process of doing entrepreneurship. And I think a fierce entrepreneur is somebody who is driven by a mission, who has a why that drives them to do what they do. And that's what helps them, as Holly said, to get back in touch with your why, for that advice to somebody who's struggling or somebody who's new. If you can always tap back into, well, why am I even doing this? That can be the thing that makes you fierce, that has you tap in, go deep, and be tenacious when you need to be.
Such a great answer, Yvonne. Thank you. Holly, the difference for you between a fierce entrepreneur and an entrepreneur. And if I have to say entrepreneur one more time.
Just don't ask me to spell it. Actually, I got it down finally. When I think about entrepreneurs, I think entrepreneurs are people who have businesses with things that they offer the world. But I think a fierce entrepreneur has a business that with something that they think only they can offer the world, if that makes sense.
Ooh, Holly's getting spicy.
I was thinking Carrie.
I know. I think she's been hanging out with Kim too much. What? Definitely. Thank you, Holly. Linda, I'm not saying it again. So what's the answer to this question for you?
I think it's a bit like oranges and bananas, really. I think the difference that I have seen is perseverance and the ability to continue on even when it is feeling like you do just want to grab an apple or a banana instead of trying to peel that orange. And I've seen a lot of people come and go and up and down and fade or burn out or lots of different things. So it's the ability to be able to keep on going while also recognizing that sometimes you do need to slow down or just take a breath or stop and continue, not just stop and find a more comfortable position. Yeah.
Great answer, Linda. Thank you. Kim, do we have any more questions?
Carrie, I'd really like to open the floor to the panel to bring what they would like to bring to the table. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about, y'all being fierce. We're here to be witnesses and share that y'all are fierce. So is there something you would like to share or Yvonne?
I'll share. I have always wanted to be a leader, and for most of my life, I did not feel like I was. And I'm almost 55 years old and just beginning to dip my toe into this whole idea. And it's been such a learning journey. And there is like a whole burnout thing that's tied into it. There was something Linda was saying about, wanting an apple instead and maybe stopping. It's the idea maybe of pausing instead of stopping and regrouping. But yeah, this is all so new to me. I wonder for the rest of you, do you feel like you've always been a leader, or is it new to you and uncomfortable? I'm trying to push myself into being uncomfortable on purpose a lot these days, because I think there's so much juice there for all of us when we do that to ourselves. There's so much to be learned.
Does anyone have a response for Yvonne?
I do. I'll jump in. Yvonne, I think that's a really great question. And, as I think back on my life, I think I was... Do I hear me? I'm sorry. I keep buffering. I think I was more of a leader than I realized I was in my younger years. And I think some of that comes from the fact that we moved a lot, and I was new in school, I was new in towns, and I had to learn to put myself out there and make the first move a lot of time with friends or with people or teachers or whoever it was that I was associated with in my life at that time. And I think that played a big role in building my leadership skills. And then, going into it as a teacher in my career, you definitely have to step up and be that leader. But sometimes I have been uncomfortable with it, and so I when you said, asked if it was something that, and uncomfortable or something you're not sure about, there are times when even though I feel like I have been for a while, I am uncomfortable with it at times. So, yeah.
Anybody else? Thank you, Ollie.
I'll jump in and say that I think similar to Holly, looking back over my life, I see the moments where I was a leader, and I liked the camaraderie between, for example, in college being an orientation leader. I'd like the camaraderie amongst all of the orientation leaders and how we were helping the freshmen get adjusted to college, and we were that welcoming face or that welcoming hello. I've always liked being that person to welcome someone new, and in my previous corporate job, I was that person to welcome new people. And I like that. There were moments though that I definitely felt uncomfortable with it more if it was pointed out that I was if it was pointed out that I was a leader, where I just wanted to blend. I didn't want to be distinguished as it. It was just something I did, and I felt more uncomfortable when it was pointed out to me or distinguished for it.
Like on a live stream, you mean?
Maybe like on a live stream, yes.
Linda, do you have something to share?
I know that my interpretation / perspective / understanding of what leadership is has developed and morphed and changed over the years through things like this, through things like conversations, through practice and perseverance and finding out, mucking up and all sorts of things. And I think we're sold a very Hollywood idea of a leader being someone in a suit in a tall rise apartment, office building on level 163.287 or something like that. I think we're sold a very idealized version of what a leader is. However, I'm sitting here on the bottom half of my screen in my slippers under my heated blanket over in winter in Tassie. And there are some days when I can lead very successfully in my dressing gown, or with a baby on my lap, or while taking a walk or roller skating, or in the closet, or while having coffee outside, or chasing seagulls, or grandkids, or in a bus at the same time. So I think it's really important to recognize that my understanding of leadership has certainly changed, and it will continue to change and get better over time.
So Kim, where shall we go next?
I think they have more to say. I just have this feeling they're not done yet.
I'm just wondering if Kim and Carrie have always felt like leaders, or if it's something that has come about later for you.
Carrie, you go first because you already know mine.
It's funny you asked that question, Yvonne, because I think Kim and I are quite similar in this regard, and I've never really spoken about this out loud, but I was the bossy one in the playground, in the schoolyard. I grew up making plans and getting everyone together. Who's going to be the leader of the team? I will. Like, pick me. Like, I was that just naturally and organically. And I think it's funny to look back now, because that was a very different human to who I am now. So obviously I've matured a little bit and I've calmed down a little bit. So I'm not as bossy as I used to be, which is probably a good thing. But yeah, I feel like I probably was born to lead a little bit.
You definitely were, Carrie. So y'all probably already remember the story from kindergarten where everyone thought I was bossy. I was just leading, y'all. That's all I was doing. I loved playing in this little make-believe kitchen thing we had, and I would have a baby on my hip, but you can bet I had food on the stove and I had a cash register on the counter while I was selling the other little kindergartners groceries. So I just want to be very clear, that came about very early. However, I did go through a phase in the middle of my life where I was very shy. I don't know exactly what caused that, for me to pull back, but I pulled back hard. And so I don't think I was a leader in the middle, I'll say that, of my youth. I think it was more, I turned around and said one day, wait, this is not who I am. And then y'all know the rest is history. I am bossy all day long.
I can so relate to what you're saying, Kim. And Carrie, you brought it up for me. I just remembered as you were saying that I was that bossy kid on the playground, 100%. And I remember getting together with my cousins, meeting my cousins who were on the East Coast for the first time. And I was probably 6 or 7. And I was like, we're doing a show. We're going to do Peter Pan. And we were doing it. And they had a pool. And I was like, and I was like suddenly the director. And I don't know, at some point, Kim, in the middle somewhere, maybe it was, the teenage years or something, I pulled back and I started playing safe. And I'm only now starting to embrace and let that boss come out. I always say when I have a camera and I've got a big group of people that I'm taking photos of, people are like, it's going to be a big group. I'm like, don't worry. I'm very bossy with the camera in my hand, to which my husband says, with a camera in your hand. So I'm bossy at home, clearly. But is bossiness leadership?
So I'm going to challenge, I love that question, Yvonne, because I am going to challenge that thought, and I would love to know everybody's thought about that. I think bossiness is what we're accused of sometimes when we are fierce. I think also bossy can be something when you're not really helping those around you. You can be bossy to your own benefit. But I think the difference in that and being a fierce leader is we can be perceived as bossy because we are trying to help others around us, and we don't put up with things. We don't put up with chaos in the community. We don't put up with, less than what someone is capable of, because that doesn't help them. So I am still bossy to this day, but I think my bossy is for the benefit of others. Let's hope that that's what you're saying. If not, I'll be taking feedback.
Go ahead, Adam.
I'll say to Kim's point of, I don't find Kim bossy. To me, bossy is asking for something in sort of a derogatory way. It's asking in a not nice way. I mean, Kim always look. Kim definitely knows what she wants, and she has a vision, and she achieves that vision because she asks for what she wants. But she asks in a very, to me, it's a very pleasant way. It's a very, I don't know what the word I mean, I can only think of pleasant right now. So it's a very pleasant way, but there's direction to it. So to me, I don't think of that as bossy. Whereas other times in my business life, I've had people be like, "Do this, do that. I want this. Just get it for me." To me, that's bossy. So I don't know where I was going with that, but
Thank you, Adam.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm agreeing with Adam 100% about
Yes.
your leadership style, Kim. It is not bossy, and neither is Carrie's style bossy either. It doesn't feel that way. You do voluntold us often, but you do it in such a nice way.
I think bossy is demanding in a self-serving way. And you can be demanding when you are looking out for other people and trying to help other people and lead them in the right direction. And to me, that's not bossy, but bossy is like a self-serving, demanding type, which is definitely not Kim and Carrie. So.
Thank you for saying that, y'all.
Thank
feel
you.
like, oh my gosh, I feel like leadership has this quality to it that we think of leaders as being the boss and bossy, but I think really good leaders are intuitive about what other people need. And I think that they take the time to listen well before they open their mouths to give instruction or to give feedback. I think there's a lot of listening that needs to happen and that happens with good leaders.
And,
That's a great point.
Yeah, go ahead, Carrie. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was going to head over to Linda. Sorry, Holly.
No, go ahead, Linda. You're good.
I think one of the qualities I think that was mentioned earlier is the decisiveness, which is part of being a fierce entrepreneur. And that's how the bossiness, I think, can come across. However, there are so many people out there that are overloaded with their decisions or looking for someone to lead with a decision or help them ask questions to help them make better decisions or support them in their decisions or talk about their decisions out loud or all sorts of things. So going back to the orange analogy for a second, if we take that, if all six of us had an orange and Holly was cooking a cake, she might only want the zest from the orange. If I had six other people and kids around the table that wanted some orange, I'd be looking to share the orange with everyone. Maybe Adam is really thirsty and only wants the juice from the orange. Maybe someone doesn't want an orange at all, they're just saving it for later. So there's lots of different purposes for that orange, and we don't all need the same decision to be made at the same time or for the same purpose or that sort of thing. So while we all have an orange, we don't all use it in the same way. And so I think the bossiness in a way that is one size fits all isn't necessarily helpful in its approach or for leadership, full stop, really, as well.
That was such a great ad, Linda, and now I'm craving oranges, just so you know.
I know, I've only got mandarins in the fridge. All our oranges got eaten really quick, really fast. It's all good. I'll have to get some.
And Holly, did you want to add something else?
Yeah, I can, Carrie. I was thinking about qualities of a leader. And I think a lot of times, kind of with what we were talking about, a leader allows others to step forward and lead, but with almost like a safety net, so that you can kind of guide them, let them do their thing and kind of spread their wings and go out, but have a safety net for them to guide and help, help cuddle, I guess, the leadership skills. And so, and I think, just thinking back on myself, I think I've been more of a quiet leader in that way than an out loud leader a lot of times, because I'm 100% okay with stepping back and letting others take the lead. but I'm also okay with jumping in there and rerouting or redoing or, moving to another direction or, straightening out whatever needs to be as well. So, and there was something Yvonne said that made me think of that. So.
Thank you, Holly. Adam, go ahead.
I wanted to go back to something that you and Kim were talking about before, about how, like, growing up, you were always on the playground, you were always getting the groups together and everything. And I had the opposite experience. I was always the quiet kid, or the kid that got picked last for the sports teams. And I remember the one time in gym class when the gym teacher picked me to be the leader, and then I would pick people to come on my team. But as I was choosing people, they were then trying to tell me who to pick, as if I didn't know, but I knew. And I think being that quiet kid maybe had an effect as to with my self-confidence and the self-confidence of being leader, because I didn't have those opportunities growing up, or I don't feel like I had that opportunity growing up. And it wasn't until college that I really started to come into my own and find my way towards leadership and helping others. And I feel like that's where it started for me. And I think so I'm glad I got there, but I think those formative years did have an effect on me, even at this stage, because like I mentioned before, when my previous, when an old boss told me that I didn't instill confidence in people, I mean, that was my review for several years in a row. And I just, it was something that always bothered me, because I felt like I may not have all the answers, but I am getting things, resolved. It may just be taking a little longer. And now being in this community, I love hearing the fact that I don't have to have all the answers, and it's okay if I don't know everything and I don't fix it on the first try. And so it's like I just feel like I found my home, and I just can't it's like I just want to reiterate the fact that I feel like to be a fierce entrepreneur, it's really finding your community and having other people around you to be that support and to help you and all of those things.
You
Well
have us
said.
around you. Oh, I'm sorry, Carrie. I was just
No,
going
you're
to say,
fine.
you have us around you to remind you of how amazing you are, Adam. We all see it. So
Mhm.
sorry, just had to do that.
Kim,
Yes, Carrie.
hello. We are nearing the end of our second panel and the end of the Fierce Entrepreneur Summit. So maybe we could go around and do some quick final thoughts from this amazing group of fierce entrepreneurs. What do you think, Kim?
Yes, please. And I'm sad it's almost over.
It went so fast, so fast. Don't blink, you'll miss it. So Linda, would you like to kick us off with some final thoughts, please?
If you asked me this morning if I had been talking about oranges on the fierce. Yeah, when I woke up, I did not think I'd be talking about oranges. However, it fits. I thank you all so much for your company and conversation. These are always inspiring. It's great practice to be out there and bold and fierce. And I am motivated by all of you daily. And yeah, thank you all for joining us, and anyone who's watching now or later or into the future. It's beyond great. I'm beyond grateful.
Thank you, Linda. Holly, final thoughts?
Sure. I've just thoroughly enjoyed this, as I do everything that our community does together. Just the support that we all receive from our leaders, but then from everybody, in the community is just it's a value that you can't get anywhere else. And I do appreciate that. And, the time on here, your time, everybody else's time to really, ask us questions and make us think. And, expand our minds and expand our knowledge for our businesses. It's just a wonderful thing. So it's been fun. I've enjoyed it, and thank you all so much.
Thank you, Holly. Yvonne, your final thoughts, please.
I love this community. I love this, just Holly saying it's been fun, and Linda saying I didn't think I was going to talk about oranges, and I am just honored to be part of this group, and I've had fun as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Adam, do you have final thoughts?
I thought this was a great evening, and thank you and Kim for providing the space for us to have this event tonight. And I just want to encourage anybody watching that if you have a dream of being an entrepreneur and starting out, to take that step, take that risk. And I think entrepreneurship means something different to everybody, and really find your community. If it's not the My Sexy Business community, then find your community that you feel that you fit in. But we are a community that loves people and loves helping people. So we are here, and we'll always be happy to, for anyone who wants to join and is looking for that support.
Thank you, Adam. That was well said.
Very well said. And thank you all for being with us tonight. We'll see you hopefully in just a little bit. About 10 minutes from now, we'll be in the after party. So we thank you all, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you. Love you.
So, Carrie, we've got some stuff to do, ma'am.
We have things to do. We definitely